Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning. Well, thank God it's Friday. We are very happy and excited that you are with us and all through the week, especially today, the last installment for the program for the week here on Morning Spring, where we talk about absolutely Nigeria conversation. Sometimes we talk about what happened in the global space or outside of this country, but then ultimately it's about the Nigerian project, conversations that has to do with us, decision-making process, policy makers, stakeholders in this nation of good people that makes a great nation. Femi Ojo is my name. Thank you. And as I said, thank God it's Friday. And of course, Daniel, thank God it's Friday.
Absolutely. Beautiful Friday morning.
It is.
Of course, good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to all our distinguished viewers. Thank you once again for joining us on Morning Spring. This is Western Spring Television. The show you do not ever want to miss. It's been a wonderful week.
It is.
From Monday to Friday. And of course, thank God it's Friday. We are winding down. It's the last edition of the program for the week. And of course, it promises to be a great one as usual. Once again, thank you for joining us. Emeka Daniel is my name.
All right. And of course, I like the way you call that. Emeka Daniel is your name. Are you a Nigerian?
Absolutely.
For now?
No. I'll say it over and over again. I will never exchange my Nigerian citizenship for anything.
I get that. Not about exchanging your citizenship.
I'm proud to be a Nigerian.
But at some point, will you want to consider having a second citizenship?
Never. Why on earth? No, I keep saying it. Why should I leave Nigeria, go to a place and be a second-class citizen? It doesn't make
Not leave.
sense.
Second citizenship is more like you just have it there as an option.
Well, if it's there, it's just there. What will it do for me? Okay. Unless it puts money in the bank.
Well, it's absolutely Niger. Niger to the world.
It's Niger. It's Nigeria.
All right. And of course, this is the best place anybody should be if actually things are working, really. The thing is, when you talk about those guys that have Japad, many of them, and you talk together for their reasons. I'm not against Japa, and I'm not against you having other plans, or you stay here, to your tent, O ye Israel. Now, the thing is, if not, and sometimes it's make your heart bleed, that that if the leadership all over these years have done what they are supposed to do, and we're serious people, serious government, serious handlers, serious people. When I mean people, the followers, the leadership, and everyone, if we have done what we're supposed to do, why should anybody go to a place like Iceland? A place like Russia?
So Iceland is a nice place. You can visit as a tourist.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But why, even in UK and US, there are times of the year that are terribly cold.
Absolutely.
And it's more like, I used to give an example, the practical example that a layman or anybody around here can relate with is, there are times of the year in those places in which it's like practically, the normal atmosphere is like practically living in a refrigerator.
Absolutely.
Can you afford to live in a refrigerator? And in fact, sometimes you might graduate like living in a freezer, because when you get to the 0 point, minus zero, that's freezing point. And this is where people troop to just make ends and, for survival. Why would I want to trade that for what the atmosphere in Agumbele?
Apart from that, with the gloomy weather, sometimes the weather can be so gloomy. Gloomy weather.
Come on.
Cities where it snows all the time.
Exactly my point.
You're limited in quite a lot of things.
And you see people freezing and they still have to go out.
Yeah,
you can't call in sick.
Africa is a land of sunshine. That's it.
For real.
Land of sunshine. We have God has blessed Africa so much. We have so much resources,
minerals abounding everywhere.
Here and all that. The only problem we have in Africa is bad leadership. That's just it. Bad leadership at all levels.
My people in these two
poor leadership. That's just it.
100%.
God has given us everything.
I'm telling you.
So once we fix our leadership problems,
what does Nigeria have to do with poverty? Really, with the human resources now and the mineral resources, natural resources that we have. Now, most of these countries that are even having some of these mineral resources and natural endowments are the most poor. What does a Congo have with poverty? Such a nation, that's just the easy issue.
Again, I think we should be objective when we look at it. That's why when some people criticize some leaders in their decisions, they should be careful. Look at Burkina Faso. Look at what the military ruler is doing there. Look at what Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing in Burkina Faso. Because he realized that, come on, why should we keep suffering? He said, it came out and said, we don't need loans from IMF or the World Bank. No, we have enough. Let us fix our own land. And it came up with a lot of reforms. And Burkina Faso is doing fine, doing extremely well today.
Though there are some persons who are having issues with the Traore thing, that they feel there is a lot of image laundering as far as Ibrahim Traore is concerned. And
the West will always criticize him. He ejected France from Burkina Faso. So that's it.
Yeah, my thing is either is image laundering. Burkina Faso or the president there doesn't even have to be our go-to person. In Nigeria, what exactly do we need that we can have? Even in, let's say, all the regions, if they were to become a country, everybody is okay. The Southeast, the Northeast, the North Central, everybody, Southwest, Southeast, South. Nobody should be poor. But then the most important thing in life is where we are lacking. And that's good leadership.
Absolutely.
Leadership and leadership. Everything rests and falls on,
absolutely. And the smart ones who are supposed to, some of the smart ones who are supposed to take up leadership positions, if everybody abandons Nigeria, and so you're leaving Nigeria for who? Then again, when Nigeria gets better, some people are, put on with the struggles. When it gets better, you now see everyone, they are coming back. They want to be part of it. They want to enjoy when the whole thing is dished.
I think that there is a song that was waxed in the, I know that song in the 90s, but I don't know. Possibly it was waxed in the early 80s. The song is one day, it go better, it go better, it go better. And I've known that song now for almost 40 years, and it's just like almost the same. So you can't blame people jackpine.
No, I'm not.
Whatever anybody choose to do.
I'm not blaming them. It's their choice. Some people are comfortable with being.
But these are nations.
Some people are comfortable in being a second-class citizen in some other places. No matter how you look at it, there's still you can never stop discrimination. You cannot stop it. If you're not a citizen, they'll still discriminate against you, no matter how civilized the society is. Some of them will just say, oh, you're just a black man. I mean, why on earth? I hate that term. Why on earth would I be a black American? No, I'm an African. I'll never be a black American. That's just
all right. That is the spirit. Actually, be the first class in your own place.
Absolutely.
Do whatever you have to do, and let everybody just be fine. But either you are in Nigerian diaspora or you're Nigerian here, the thing is, this is our nation.
Absolutely.
We can contribute from anywhere that we are. But for us that we are here, at least for now, it must work. And of course, that is why it must work. The diaspora have their own contribution as well. If you know the figures that we turn in from diaspora,
that they remit,
it's a lot actually, and that's one that everybody should be concerned about. But more importantly, how about the security of lives and property here? Because if it's for some people, people do these things, the jijagba thing, for different reasons. If it's about job and money, some people are good as far as this nation is even concerned. But the thing is, you are one kidnap away from being dead or bankrupt.
But again, it's subjective. Another thing, just for
that's why I'm saying people will do whatever they do for different reasons.
And another thing that worries me, Femi, is that when professionals leave Nigeria, leave Africa, and go to those places, they call them immigrants. But when they come to Nigeria, when they come to Africa, unfortunately, guess what? We call them expats. We call them expatriates.
Technocrats.
Come on. So they are expatriates here, and we are immigrants over there.
If you ask me, it still has to do with our psyche here.
Yeah, that's the point.
Our psyche.
That's the point.
Here.
And by the grace of God, I've been privileged to work with, guys from different continents, from different countries, from America, from Europe, from Asia. I mean, these guys are not smarter than us. They are not smarter than us. That's just the point. So we have everything. God has blessed us with a human capacity, with a mental capacity. So they are not better. But sometimes we tend to look down on ourselves. We get it. They call us immigrants. Then when they come here, we call them expats, and we treat them better than our own people.
The security agencies, sometimes they do not help in the way they... Have you not seen mobile police men following sheepishly some of these Chinese that are involved in the mining? Have you not seen them? Those guys are in shorts, they're in just one t-shirt, and you see somebody fully armed. Sometimes they carry nylon.
And
when you meet them, when you meet them, didn't you see that video like 3 months ago? of a Chinese national sharing money,
yeah.
and the Nigerian police, for some of their men, lined up like they were going to visit welcome the president visiting Benue. They lined up and the guy was sharing watts of 1,000 naira. Later, the woman, I don't know, maybe it's the wife or relative, took on the thing and they were doing like this.
Tell me,
if it's you and I,
like they say in Nigeria, now poverty.
Either it's poverty, either it's low self-esteem, either it's being unprofessional. It's still a we thing.
Absolutely,
it's our own.
It's our mind. It's a mindset. That's just thing. Yeah, our mindset.
Your own countryman, that is a mobile policeman in Hausa, they will blala you just because of a Chinese man. That's just. Don't you see them at the malls? And these guys, they can't even speak the English that you are speaking. They need translator to speak with you.
Absolutely. We should, I think we should.
With due respect to China and every other.
So I once took up a consultant who posted something some time ago saying that, he has done so, what he pays foreign consultants in dollars. And I asked him, please, how much do you pay Nigerian consultants? He kept quiet. He couldn't respond.
Definitely can't be in dollars.
Well, when you don't treat
you wouldn't even pay them very well. There are examples.
When you don't treat your own people well,
it's
that's a problem.
I absolutely agree with you.
It's our mindset as a people.
Before we round up, there is this ugly experience that somebody shared with me. At least I've had it for one or two persons. I went to Lagos at the time, so I was conversing with some persons, and so, the Ogun State. There's an axis of that place that is heavily industrialized. So some of these foreign nationals, they are accompanying their foreign nationals rather. And he said the problem that he has is the fact that when some of these foreign nationals, they come and they want to, put up their business and all of those things, and possibly they do their survey and they say, okay, for the average staff, let's say we're going to be paying them 100,000 naira. Then they take a manager who is a Nigerian. And the Nigerian manager will tell the owner of the company, I say 100,000. You want to spoil them?
It's too much.
No, it's too much. Nobody pays that. Give them 40,000. They will not come to work again. And the guy, everybody wants to manage the business. Now the Oyinbo will ask the person, are you sure? I know what I'm saying.
We are the ones
or the person will say, leave it to me. How we handle it. At the end of the day, you might end up getting that 40,000 naira and even getting lesser, and you will not be paid consistently. Guess what? The manager will be, he won't do his own remuneration in the Nigerian way they are supposed to. He will be earning heavily. So 5 persons that are of senior cadre might be earning what 100 persons are earning. And not because the owner of the business cannot pay, it's because he has been told that Nigeria, we want to pay 100,000 naira for a junior staff. They will run away. You will spoil them. So is it your impose people's problem? It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Now, man, they do, man.
Absolutely. It's our mindset problem. That's just, once we fix our mindset, Nigeria will become great again.
Of course. And for those persons that are always clapping at every issue, you know what I'm talking about. The president was in Benue, applause upon applause. June 12, applause upon applause.
I mean,
every time they have no idea. Are there people that are involved in that business of applause? Possibly they are hiring people now. That whenever the president comes, can you clap? 10,000 naira for you. Go into the hall. Because I wonder the reason for any applause at that Benue visit. Let's just leave Benue and just move ahead. There is a lot to talk about, and that will continue, especially with the papers immediately after. Now, we are ready. We know you are. Good morning. All right. We'll kickstart the newspaper segment. We have quite some this morning. And Daniel, please do us the honors.
Which one is that?
Anyone.
All right. Okay. We start from the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, Tinubu, Kaduna rising again after overcoming insecurity. Tinubu, Kaduna rising again after overcoming insecurity. With the rider right below it, President inaugurates projects. Another one, Kaduna will return. Kaduna will return, Tinubu says Abbas. Kaduna will return, Tinubu says Abbas. And finally, we have Colonel Umar bags CFR. That's Conference of National Honors on Colonel Umar right there. Away from the banner red line, moving to the top strip of the Nation newspaper this morning. Green bond oversubscribed by 91.4 billion naira. Green bond oversubscribed by 91.4 billion naira, with a rider 47.36 billion naira allotted. So that's a good one. That's a great one, actually, for green bond. Imagine allotting 47.36 billion naira, and now it is oversubscribed, by 91.4 billion naira. So congratulations to you on that one. Away from that, on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, DHQ steps up action against killers in Benue. Defense headquarters steps up action against killers in Benue. With a rider, Akuma leads peace panel. Akume leads peace panel. Talking about DHQ setting up action against killers in Benue. We want to see arrests. The president was in Benue and he talked about it. How come so far no one has been arrested? So we want to see the military, want to see the DHQ, want to see the police, coming up with arrests, arresting the right people, the perpetrators of this dastardly act.
The right people.
The right people. Because when you say, okay, go arrest people, you know what happens in this part of the world. Before you know it, you just see them, they just roll out their vehicles and they start picking young men indiscriminately. It happens over and over again. Once they get the marching orders, once their bosses give them their area commanders, the CP, the IG, once they get their command, the next thing, they just roll out and start picking people.
Anyone on site.
Exactly. So it happens a lot. So please, try to pick the right ones this time. The perpetrators of this crime should be brought to book. Away from that, still on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Natasha's trial for defamation against Akpabio Bello begins September 23. Natasha's trial for defamation against Akpabio Bello begins September 2023. And that's talking about embattled Senator, or should I say, suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. She finally appeared in court. She was arraigned. She appeared and she was granted bail with a sum of 50 million naira. Yes, 50 million naira bail. Now the case is to be heard, we understand, on September 23. The defamation case against the Senate president and former governor of Kogi State. Away from that, just below that, we have another story. Over 250,000 Nigerians are refugees in Libya, Cameroon, others. Over 250,000 Nigerians are refugees in Libya, Cameroon, others. You find a story on page 4. Quite unfortunate. How do you explain this? Nigerian citizens being refugees in African countries, for God's sake. Libya, Cameroon. Come on, we should do better. This is very unfortunate. Over 250 Nigerians. Let us fix Nigeria.
Yes.
And let us be proud to be Nigerians. Just like I am proud, just as I'm proud, always, ever proud to be a Nigerian. That'll be all from the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, from one Nigerian to another, so much about Nigeria this morning, and actually it's heart-rendering and heartbreaking to hear that my countryman, your countryman, will, be refugee in a country like Libya. It's a lot.
And but if you see what they go through in Libya, I've seen some videos, from terrible videos, clips showing the inhumane conditions that they live in, the kind of conditions they live in. You see some of them being molested. You see the female ones, they go there, they turn them into prostitutes, sex slaves,
trafficked, sold.
Yeah, they use them as house helps, they treat them.
Yeah.
I saw one video, the man was beating this lady up, mercilessly, again, for what?
All in the name of a better dream.
And some of them actually had decent jobs here.
Well,
that's how they gathered the money in the first place.
Some traveled some of those countries because of ignorance. Promises from close persons to say, Nigeria, what are you doing? Let's go there. You earn in dollars. And they believe. And then they get to the other side, their documents are withdrawn, and then they are left. dry.
I have a friend, we served together during NYC. We tried to cross, through the North African Channel. I didn't even know. He almost died in Morocco. He almost died in Morocco. He came back to Nigeria. Now I don't need to tell him again.
And he will have paid in millions, because for you to be picked and made to travel that route is not just because you can hustle. You don't even know the way. Sometimes some of the travelers end up killing themselves when survival, hit everybody. Just for a bottle of water, people get up dying.
Anything can happen. Absolutely.
It's so much. Now, Vanguard is up next. Vanguard newspaper. Benue massacre. Troops got wrong intel on attackers movement. Benue massacre. Troops got wrong intel on attackers movement. Chief of Defense Staff. Survivors cry out over poor feeding and living conditions. What do you make of this? Benue massacre. Troops got wrong intel on attackers. So, interesting. Is it not better that the Chief of Defense Staff will keep quiet?
Instead why would you say troops got wrong?
Is it supposed to make us feel better? Or this is him being honest? Or he's just making excuses?
I don't really
Troop got a wrong intel.
No.
Are there no ways of,
So if he's trying to make excuses, he has done it very poorly.
Yeah.
These are wrong.
I think we have even moved past baby. We have moved past the excuses. This is time for action.
Troop got wrong intel. Whose fault is that? Who's supposed to verify the intel?
Yeah, you can't decipher
Civilians?
What is good. Exactly, you and I.
Should tell him whether the intel is good.
He's right or wrong.
Come on.
From the Chief of Defense Staff.
Come on, stop giving excuses, please.
All right, and Israel-Iran conflict. Trump to make war decision in 2 weeks. Israel-Iran conflict. Trump to make war decision in 2 weeks. And interesting, making war decisions, either to go all out or not to go all out. Anyway, so many offers are on the table. Now, Zenith Bank navigating CBN's prudential measures with confidence. That'll be all from the front page of the Vanguard.
And from the Vanguard, we move to the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Tinubu to choose running mates after convention. That's according to presidency. Tinubu to choose running mate after convention. There's been a lot of controversy around who Tinubu's running mate would be. Shetima's supporters have been clamoring, saying you cannot drop our man. He should still be Tinubu's running mate for 2027. But again, it is left to the president. The party has said, well, the president should decide. So let's see how that plays out. Talking about Tinubu's running mate for 2027. Again, this is just politics. It does, for most Nigerians, it doesn't really matter. What we want is good leadership, no sentiments, good leadership. It doesn't matter your tribe or your religion. I've never voted in those lines of tribe or religion. No, just deliver. That's the point. Just give us good leadership and Nigerians will be happy. Away from the banner line on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, we move to other stories. At the top strip, Benue residents about killers gave them food. Defense chief, again, another claim from the defense chief. I really don't understand what the defense chief is driving at. I don't understand what the defense chief is driving at right here, saying residents about killers gave them food. That's from the defense chief. If possibly you're trying to make excuses,
possibly it's part of the wrong intel.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is his own intel now that they give them food. So is it the hungry people? Did they give them food voluntarily? That's the question. So you are the CDS. So you should gather more intelligence and let us know where they harbored voluntarily. I think Baba should
just get to work.
Yeah. Where they harbored voluntarily and fed voluntarily.
Because these blame and other things, and it's not working.
It's not helping.
While that meeting was almost being held, the president's visit, casino is being ravaged again. These are the issues.
Absolutely. So it's not about the talk. You need to do the work right now. Away from that, ground rent, FCTA silent as 14-day grace period expires. Ground rent, FCTA silent as 14-day grace period expires. I'm talking about the Federal Capital Territory Administration there, who wouldn't waste any time in closing down buildings, organizations, for owing ground rents. Now the grace period has expired. So what next? What should we expect from the FCTA? I mean, perhaps we should go back and, shut down the PDP secretariats and some other organizations, including
why are you
banks.
Making it to look,
including banks.
Why are you making it to look like it's only the PDP?
No, that one made the headlines. I mean, so that's why I mentioned them first. Yes.
Angle.
So now the grace period has expired, and perhaps they should.
And I think it won't be the business of the FCTA to be reminding the defaulters that, your grace period will soon end. Everybody knows. Absolutely. The next thing will be action. The man will come, gather the journalists and say, it's in my business that...
Absolutely. I still remember one funny meme, funny meme that propped up, that went viral then when Wike was appointed FCT minister. In that meme, Wike was saying he was walking very briskly, very boldly with his arms spread out, and was like, where is that Atiku's house in Abuja?
Yeah, I remember that cartoon.
Very funny. Anyways, there was just on the lighter notes right there. Away from that, still on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, and this will be the last story we'll be taking from the Daily Trust. Ubasani turned Kaduna from toxic zone to hub of progress. Ubasani turned Kaduna from toxic zone to hub of progress, and that's according to Mr. President. Now, Ubasani is in the good books of Mr. President since the president fell out with Nasir El-Rufai. And Ubasani has always been taunting Nasir El-Rufai. I mean, he said he retired him. He said he's going to retire Nasir El-Rufai from politics. He said he has turned Nasir El-Rufai into a Rastafarian because there was a time Nasir El-Rufai quoted a song by Lucky Dube or so, and Ubasani said, look at him, I've retired him from politics.
I saw
I've turned him into a Rastafarian.
That speech of the president when he was in Kaduna, and he said in 2022 he was in Kaduna and the atmosphere was toxic. And now he's back in Kaduna and the whole place is flourishing.
Ubasani has performed magic.
He doesn't need to mention it. When he said in 2022 the atmosphere was toxic during the electioneering campaign, you don't need to be told who was in charge or who made the atmosphere toxic at the time. Now, 3 years after, he's back, and then the whole place is flourishing. You should see that in that speech. It was praises, and if the president said, "I'm happy to work with you." Mr. President is happy to work with the governor. And that was a skirmish there yesterday. Somebody tried to get a go at the president. Tried to attack the president.
Wow.
And the guy, definitely didn't succeed. And it took everybody, the DSS, the main man of the president at his back, everybody charged at him. In fact, we don't know what the guy looked like because...
Well, he didn't have a weapon on him.
Well, we will never know. The only thing we know is he didn't succeed because the guy was apprehended. And that guy, you don't need to be told that you are done.
No, I mean, he didn't pull a weapon yet.
Well, the camera didn't show that. But there was an aggressor charging towards Mr. President and all of those things. These are some of the issues.
Anyways, that's Kaduna there. Ubasani getting praises.
Very heavy praises.
Mr. President. Quite a nice one. That'll be all from the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right. From the Daily Trust newspaper, let's check the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu admits missing some names on Democracy Day. Confers CFR on Dangewa Umar. All right. And Dangote blames shortage of domestic crude oil for reliance on import from the U.S. Dangote blames shortage of domestic crude oil for reliance on import from the U.S. and insecurity. Southern Middle Belt leaders, I take that again, insecurity. Southern Middle Belt leaders lambast federal government, NAS, with riders there condemn forest guards scheme. Say emergency rule in rivers illegal, unconstitutional. Condemn forest guard scheme. Say emergency rule in rivers illegal and unconstitutional. And, with the development in River State, many persons are still having their fingers crossed to say we are not sure if that 6 months will be the only 6 months that will happen, because we have seen screenings upon screenings at the National Assembly or some of the positions that needs to be, including the RCEC, River State Independent Electoral Commission. And one will want to wonder if actually is about 6 months. Why are we having some of these screenings and decisions? Is it going to be long term? Let's assume that if Fubara comes back, all those people that we inherit Will it be part of the peace pact? Because I understand that will be peace pact that will be signed just to let them be. Or we try to get them off and bring another people, and then the problem will resurface.
Yeah. So again, this
is it just
like you said, this is looking more like permanent.
Like decisions. A permanent thing.
Exactly. So when Fubara comes in now, perhaps it will be forced. Exactly. Just to retain them, because ideally he's supposed to bring back his people.
Well,
because this one came, removed all Fubara, suspended everyone, removed all of them from office, made his own appointment. So if we are to be fair on Fubara, if he comes back, he should have that free hand to bring back his people. But it may not play out like that, because this is looking more like permanent decisions being made in Rivers State.
All right, that will be all from the Nigerian Tribune.
And from the Nigerian Tribune, finally, we have the Punch newspaper. Let's quickly take a look at some of the headlines on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Food inflation, NSA, 36 states launch joint action. With inflation, NSA, 36 states launch joint action. Talking about food inflation in Nigeria, you can read up that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And just below that, we have some riders. FG governors agree on free flow of goods across states to dismantle checkpoints. Harmonize levies. And below that, we have Ribadu heads interministerial panel. Ribadu heads interministerial panel. Then another one right there. Governors worry over World Bank funding. Governors worry over World Bank funding delay. You can read up all that on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And on the top strip, we have Dangote blames crude shortage as imports from US surge. Dangote blames crude shortage as imports from US surge. You find that story on page 19. And finally, Israel threatens Khamenei after Iranian missiles wound 240. Israel threatens Khamenei after Iranian missiles wound 240. You find that story on page 2. I'm talking about Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is being threatened by Israel now. I understand the Israel defense spokesman said Khamenei does not deserve to exist anymore because they struck a hospital in Beersheba. They claimed the target wasn't the hospital, that it was a military site beside the hospital. But Israel is saying this has gone too far and we are coming for you, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. That's a threat from Israel right there. And that'll be all from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that also brings us to a conclusion of the newspaper review segment of the program. We'll take a short break. When we return, the program continues. Please stay with us.